This is the Palin Update on SarahNet Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla.
We're getting back to our grand old roots. And when the other party is wrong, we're stiffening our spines and we're saying so.
Well, one hopeful is saying so loud and clear. And he's hearing the call of run, Forrest, run. So that's exactly what he's doing in the Tar Heel State. Dan Forrest, candidate for Lieutenant Governor of North Carolina, is here. And celebrating America, Palin style. We'll look back on Sarah Palin's Independence Day. Right now, our special guest. Happy to be joined by Dan Forrest today, candidate for Lieutenant Governor in the great state of North Carolina. Welcome, sir. How's Tobacco Road treating you?
Well, we're burning up the road, burning the rubber off our tires, crisscrossing the state, but it's my honor to be with you.
Now, you survived a gritty five-way primary, and now it is a runoff election on July 17th. Tell us what sets you apart from your opponent.
Well, as you mentioned, we were the winner of the primary on May the 8th. We won by 33% of the vote, or 62,000 votes, but not enough to avoid a runoff. You have to have 40% plus one to do that. And so we are in a heated battle now with one other contestant. And, I always abide by Reagan's 11th commandment and not to speak ill of my Republican primary opponents. But my background is not politics. I'm not a politician. I am an architect, a businessman. I was senior partner and office president with the largest architecture firm in the state. And I left that behind to go serve the people of North Carolina because I believe we have a great leadership crisis in our state. And I believe that this is our generation's 1776. If we don't get it right in November, then we're going to be facing some challenges like we've never seen before.
Well, you do have an incredible resume, sir. Your business background is vast, and you are a conservative. Is that message resonating with the people so far?
Absolutely. I think people understand that we need a business-minded approach to government, that politics as usual doesn't work anymore, that politics as usual is what continues to drive up the cost of government, continue to keep the power base in control, and we need people with a business-minded perspective to jump in and solve some of these problems.
As you know, President Obama has been very erratic in his moves of late, changing stances on major issues, trying to covet votes. What was your take on the gay marriage deal right after Obama announced he was for it? It seems your state stood up and loudly proclaimed, "Thanks, Mr. President, but no thanks."
Yeah, it was a great moment for North Carolina. I'm a firm believer that marriage, by definition, should be defined as one man and one woman, the way God intended for it to be and the way it's defined biblically. I think that is true for most countries around the world, that they understand that our cultures are protected by a mother and a father raising a family and a home, and that's very important. Obama took a big blow in North Carolina on that day. That was the first blow. The next blow he got was that 200,000 people showed up on the Democrat side of the ticket on May 8th in North Carolina and voted for no preference for president, meaning anybody but Barack Obama, when a few years ago he only won this state by less than 14,000 votes. So two big blows in one day for a president who's got to come here in a few months and hold a Democrat National Convention.
Yes, Sarah Palin always says polls are for cross-country skiers and strippers, but the numbers don't lie in Carolina. Folks seem to be overwhelmingly against Obama and his cronies right now. Can that help you in a state race?
Oh, well, absolutely. North Carolina Democrats outnumber Republicans by nearly 1 million voters. There are about 1.5 million unaffiliated or independent voters as well. So we have our work cut out for us. We have had one Republican lieutenant governor in 140 years. We've only had two Republican governors in 140 years. We did sweep our House and Senate in 2010, and so we really believe we're positioned quite well to take the executive leadership roles this time around, and that's what we're fighting for.
How important is small business to your campaign and to Carolina and to this country?
Well, North Carolina is not really any different than the rest of America when it comes to small business. 90% of our jobs are created by small businesses. North Carolina has one of the highest unemployment rates in the nation. We have one of the worst tax problems in the nation. We're 44th in business tax climate. There's only 6 states with a bigger challenge than we have. So we We have the highest corporate income tax in the Southeast, the highest gas tax in the Southeast, one of the highest personal income tax rates in the nation, and that punishes small business. 90% of our small business owners in North Carolina file their taxes under the personal income tax, and so we're punishing our small businesses for doing business in North Carolina. We're telling other businesses we don't want them to be here. So I'm a firm believer that we need to eliminate the corporate income tax over time. We need to reduce our gas tax drastically to be competitive with our Southeast neighbors, and we need to create a small business tax bracket for those business owners who file under the personal income tax, so we're not punishing them for creating wealth and creating jobs.
That's music to a lot of people's ears, especially with some of the tax situations going on lately. Lower taxes. I know free enterprise is a big deal for you. Also, protecting the sanctity of human life.
Absolutely. I'm a firm believer in the sanctity of human life. My wife and I have been involved in the crisis pregnancy movement for a number of years. I chair the board of a center here in North Carolina for a couple of years as well. And my stance on that is that if government is not willing to protect what we consider our most basic right, the right to life, then we as citizens should not expect government to protect any other right. And so that's foundational in my platform, and we need to make sure that we continue to protect that.
Now, I understand, sir, you have a great door-to-door team. A lot of people out there hitting the pavement with you.
Yeah, we're doing something a little unconventional in a statewide race. We are going door-to-door, county by county. We've been doing that for a number of weeks now. Every day. I was in Davidson County, North Carolina today. We were knocking on doors. We spoke tonight at a Tea Party event. We're now heading up to the mountains of North Carolina, where we'll hit 3 counties tomorrow and do door-to-door as well. And we just believe that, if a candidate's not willing to get out and knock on doors and come to your county and meet you prior to the election, there's a pretty good chance that he's not going to do that after the election as well. So good old-fashioned grassroots. We have a phenomenal team across the state. And I think that will bode well for all of our candidates in North Carolina as we head into the November election.
And if people want to help you out here as we head toward July 17th, your website?
The website is danforest.com, DANFOREST.com. You can find out everything about our campaign there, lots of videos and lots of information up there about what we're doing and what we believe in. And obviously we need money to run a statewide campaign. We can't be scared to ask, and it's a big state, North Carolina. So any of your listeners that want to help us out, we'd love to have their contributions as well.
Well, on your website, sir, we see believes in small government, low taxes, free enterprise, strong families, and faith, and the fundamental foundations of America. I think that will be something that a lot of Palin boosters would like to hear. I know Sarah Palin has been keeping her eye on a lot of these races. Everyone's talking about the presidential race, but tell us why it's so important for all these other state races for people to win as well. First and foremost, I believe that this crisis that we face in America, what I call our 1776, is solvable. We can save America. We can turn America around. We shouldn't be fatalistic at all. But my perspective is we're not going to do it from the top down. We're going to do it from the bottom up, from grassroots, people getting involved, from local governments turning over to conservative leadership, state governments turning over to conservative leadership, and putting all that pressure on our national government to change and to conform and to get back to our rightful constitutional form of government, limited government, and one that our founding fathers believed the majority of the power should rest and reside with the states, not with the national government. They're saying run, Forrest, run, and he's doing just that. Dan Forrest, thank you, sir, for joining us.
It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
All right, sir. Take care.
You too. Bye now.
The website, once again, danforest.com. That's danforest.com. This past week, Americans celebrated our country's birthday. July 4th was marked by fireworks and get-togethers nationwide, and the Palins spent Independence Day in Alaska. Governor Palin posted her plans, letting supporters know that along with son Trig, the governor was excited to see daughter Piper march in a 4th of July parade with her cousins in Wasilla. Palin also pointing out that Piper's middle name is Indy, as in independence. The governor also spoke of Todd Palin taking daughters Bristol and Willow to Bristol Bay to get their hands dirty on commercial fishing grounds. Governor Palin pointing out the season's peak is soon, and the family's praying for an onslaught of wild Alaskan salmon to slay for appreciative consumers and a huge harvest for the young crew that needs to make some cash for school tuition. Also this past week, Willow Palin celebrated her birthday, and Governor Palin said Willow gets a tank of gas in her pickup truck for a gift. The governor also mentioned Bristol's new show, Life's a Trip, on the Lifetime Network. Incidentally, I'm all caught up now on the program, and you should really check it out. It's on every Tuesday on Lifetime at 11 p.m. Eastern. I really think you'll enjoy Bristol's program. Governor Palin also let us know that she is thinking about Track Palin, her son who was deployed, and all of America's troops, as well as our vets, who let us celebrate our great nation's independence. Palin said, "Thank you, U.S. military, for serving there so we can celebrate here. We love America, and we thank those who serve and sacrifice." And, of course, what would a Palin message be without a little fun? The governor posted a picture on Facebook and Twitter of one of the girls' trucks and said, "If you like Tim McGraw's new pickup truck anthem, Truck Yeah, you'll understand my kids' love of their rigs." Palin said it explains why they're expected to work for a full gas tank. A monster vehicle for sure, looks perfect for the Alaska terrain. Folks, remember, you can follow us on Twitter at SarahNet Radio, and we are now on Facebook, too, so please like SarahNet Radio on Facebook. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on SarahNet Radio. Visit SarahNetRadio.net for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. I want to thank everyone here at SarahNet Radio. Thanks to Dan Forrest, and thank you for listening today. Please be sure to join us next time for another edition of the Palin Update. And remember, we are now on demand. Check out the Palin Update on demand. You can listen anytime, anywhere. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day.